Happy holidays, everyone, and welcome to the best of edition of the Adam Jones podcast presented by the Baltimore Banner. I, of course, am Jerry Coleman. He, of course, is Adam Jones, the five-time MLB All-Star. It is episode number 11. Again, our best of version from 2022, featuring interviews with Trey Mancini, Justin Tucker, and the skipper of the Orioles. His name is Brandon Hyde. In addition, we'll reflect on the top sports moments in Maryland during 2022. A very subjective list, but AJ will react. And despite the holidays, of course, Adam will have something to talk about in his rant, his Heckle D's rant. We have a very interesting socially speaking segment. It regards our conversation last week with the former GM of the Orioles, Dan Duquette, and him being the target of batting practice. As always, we are brought to you by our friends at Jack Daniels. There's lots of ways to make whiskey. There's only one way to make Jack Daniels. Make it count. Jack Daniels. Please drink responsibly. By Be More Around Town. They have the ultimate all-inclusive pregame purple tailgate experience before every home game and away game. Spring training trips are coming, as are trips to College Park. Head to BeMoreAroundTown.com and learn more. By the good folks at the Wyman Group, much gratitude as always to Dennis Wyman and Company and G-Leaf Medical Cannabis. Visit gleaf.com. Medical cannabis is for qualified Maryland patients only. And a reminder, if you're enjoying this podcast as much as we're doing it, the Baltimore Banner has a special. They cover the Ravens, the Terps, the Orioles, and the Baltimore region in terms of news. As a special thanks to our listeners, they're offering 6 months unlimited digital access for just $1. All you have to do is head to thebaltimorebanner.com/AJ to get started. 6 months, unlimited digital access for $1 freaking dollar. Get it done. Now, AJ, for our best stuff, we have some heavy hitters and even a kicker. And again, thanks to Be More Around Town and the Wyman Group for sponsoring our guest segment during this best of episode. We begin with Trey Mancini, your former teammate. We caught up with the World Series winner days after the parade and the celebration of winning the title in Houston, and after beating cancer. An amazing story.
And just go first off, how you feeling overall before we get into it? How you feeling in your personal health?
Great. Feeling great. Obviously like still kind of on a high right now from every, thing that happened the last few days, but feeling great, feeling healthy. Thank God, over 2 years now since I finished up chemo and everything. So, feeling great in that regard.
That's a blessing,
what you did for Ryan Miner, by the way, was a great thing as well.
Yeah, he was a huge influence on me. He was my low A manager, and he was incredible. I just always have loved Ryan, and was really upset when I heard the news. And it was especially strange since it was the same disease I had. So I thought that was just a small way I could honor him. In the playoffs, you're going to find your way into the game. If you're on the roster, you are going to find your way into the game somehow. So you just have to stay ready. You can't be thinking about anything else. And unfortunately, Yuli, he stayed in that pickle for a long time, and eventually just turned his knee the wrong way and couldn't go anymore. And it hit us all pretty hard. He had been huge for us in the postseason, but I knew that whole game. I was expecting more to come in a pinch hit situation. I was not expecting to use my glove very much in the playoffs, but sure enough, Yuli went down and I had to go in there. And whenever you go into a game like that, the ball is going to find you almost immediately. And
the 1-2. Fair ball and picked by Mancini.
100%, man. 100%.
Yeah. And on that play, the only thought process that goes into your head is you have to stay on the line, because anything down the line, Segura's running on first base, he's going to score. So that was the only thought that went into the play. Luckily, everything happened too fast for me to even think. I was basically trying to be like a hockey goalie and keep the ball somewhere in the vicinity where I could at least pick it up and touch the bag. Luckily, I caught it and, made the play. We had some tough years, and then this year things turned around. You know what? I'm going to admit, it even surprised me. By the time the trade deadline came around, I wasn't sure if I was going to get traded or not, because we were playing so well. And so many of these young guys that are in Baltimore are just so special. That team has got a very bright future ahead of it. But so I end up getting traded and I go to Houston, and it's kind of like, once again, I'm more like a middle-aged guy on the team rather than like the oldest, most tenured guy. Like you said, I'm hitting seventh. And, I've got, guys like Verlander, Altuve, Ryan Presley, like Maldonado, guys that have been in this league for so long. And yeah, I kind of almost felt like a rookie again my first couple of days. It was really weird going from knowing everybody in the organization, being the most tenured person in the organization, to I felt like, I got called up in 2016 all over again when I got traded. So it was a bizarre, bizarre couple of days, but then I fit in like really quickly with them. The guys were absolutely incredible. And like you said, it's World Series or bust there. The situation's the same in Baltimore as far as, their personnel and fit. I just don't know if I'm like the best fit on that roster anymore, because they're going to need, especially, they got Mounty at first. They're going to need that DH spot for Adley when he's not catching, and they just have so many young guys coming up that need to play. That, I don't know if it would be the best fit. And if not, then that's okay. I'm always going to be an Oriole. I'll probably always be known as an Oriole, and just absolutely love my time there. And I loved how things ended between the organization and I. I couldn't have dreamt it being better.
How do you expect free agency to happen? Obviously, you're not 28. You're 31, I believe. 31.
Yeah.
Healthy.
I'm going to be 31 in March. Yeah.
Right. So you're going to play in your 31 year, healthy. And so what do you have a wish list, I should say, or anything like that?
No, I mean, no wish list in particular. It's something that I haven't given a ton of thought to yet, just since we were in the playoffs and everything. I felt like there were much bigger fish to fry than, skipping ahead to free agency. But no wish list. No, there's certainly nowhere that I wouldn't go. I'm very open to absolutely anything.
Adam, it was so great to catch up with Trey after that momentous occasion. But will he wear an Orioles uniform again? Do you think it's doubtful or conceivable? I mean, what's your gut telling you?
It's always good to catch up with Trey, honestly. I mean, I talk to him throughout the season sporadically, catch up with him. I highly doubt he will be back in black and orange, because I think there's a lot of different suitors and a lot of different organizations I think he will thrive in also, and I think he'd be a good fit for. The Orioles are moving in a different direction. They're young. I don't think they need a 31-year-old turning 32-year-old. Nothing against age, but they're moving in a completely different direction. And I just wish them the best.
He got the ring, and that's what matters, I think, most. And obviously he's healthy and remains that way. We go from baseball to football, and the first active Raven we had on this show was Justin Tucker, the all-pro kicker for the Purple and Black. He joined us and talked about a litany of topics, including one deal he's had for a while now. Adam could have had it himself with the local chain. There was a claim made by my co-host, Adam Jones, that he initially turned down the Royal Farms commercial, and that paved the way for you and stardom.
I don't know much about that or what goes on behind the scenes with the ROFO higher ups, except that I could totally see that being a thing. I mean, Haloti Nada to Adam Jones to, at one point, Joey Rickard and I had a couple of spots. So the passing of the proverbial fried chicken torch in Baltimore, it could totally make sense that it would go to another athlete in town. And I'm just honored that I ended up with said torch. It's been an honor, and it's not one that I take lightly.
Dude, I remember when they first asked me, I'm like, black man selling chicken. I don't know if I could do that. I should have did it, but at the time I just didn't want to do anything. I wanted to focus on baseball, but I should have did it because I love the creativity. That's the best part, is the creativity.
One thing you guys do have in common is pristine images. I mean, you both have been in the Baltimore sports scene for over a decade now 10 years for you, Justin. Adam, you've been around for a while as well. And in this age of social media where, people find ways to pick on people in certain ways, your images, respectively, have remained pretty cool and pretty clear so far. And hopefully I'm not jinxing anyone.
Oh, geez. Well, yeah, thanks for saying that, man. I really just, I kind of chalk that all up to, just being in a town with a lot of great people, man. And, being supported by, for me, my amazing family, my wife and my son. And then just having great teammates and great coaches, like I said, just great people around, great people around us. We also recognize that Baltimore it's like a smaller sports town. It's a smaller town, but it's a big sports town. People love their birds, and the love is definitely reciprocated. So, yeah, man, I'll leave it at that.
All right. On those lines, legacy, because you're not 3-4 years in, 5-6 good. No, this is a decade of being pretty damn good. It's hard to say, as you know. You know it too. You know you're good. Legacy. I was asked this question as I got a little bit older, and I always was like, yeah, I'm not really thinking about it because I'm still involved with it. And but now I'm done with it. I'm able to think about it and share the moments with my kids and friends about like, oh, that moment was cool, because I'm able to sit down and analyze it. Do you sometimes sit back and be like, I'm pretty damn good. What I'm doing is special. Like you said, you're around a great team. You have the city, like you said, is when you're winning here, oh man, it's the best sports town to be in. And
no doubt.
Do you really think about your legacy at this point, or are you still just riding the wave, which is a pretty damn good wave?
I would say both. To peel back the onion a little bit. Yeah, man, I'd be, I just to be perfectly honest, yeah, you do think about that stuff sometimes. But more importantly, like while you're riding the wave, you've got to, focus on putting one foot in front of the other, and all of the other sports cliches that they're cliches for a reason. It's because they are true, and they do, serve the athlete well when they are followed. But at the same time, I'm at a point, I feel like now, where I can look back and look forward, with a big smile on my face and a song in my heart about what it means to play, for the Baltimore Ravens. And then, the one other thing I'll say, as far as, thinking about my quote unquote legacy, or, like as Big Ray would say, like, how have I left my mark? I think about, my approach to the game may be a little different now than it was 10 years ago, but it's still put one foot in front of the other, be where your feet are, make, each kick for what it's worth, take them one at a time, and focus less on being the best and focus on being great. And what I mean by that is, when it's all said and done, like at the end of a given football season, the best team is the one that was able to be consistently good. And then in the biggest moments, elevate and be great. So, that's where I feel like I'm trying to be. And it's certainly a challenge, but that's where I feel like I'm trying to be now. And a lot of us on this 2022 Ravens team, that's where we're trying to find ourselves, so we can put ourselves in a position down the stretch to not only be competitive, but win, and bring back another Lombardi in February. That's where we're at.
It is the Adam Jones podcast. Jerry Coleman, Adam Jones, joined by Ravens kicker Justin Tucker. And, I've heard other people refer to you as the GOAT. That's a term that goes around a lot these days, whether it be LeBron or Tiger or guys, Tom Brady. I'm kind of comfortable with Tom Brady right now. How comfortable are you with the title of?
And the rest of those are GOATs too.
I understand. Well,
he's a hater. Jerry's a hater.
No, Jordan's the GOAT. Jack Nicklaus is the GOAT. Tom Brady's the GOAT. Justin, you're on your way. Are you uncomfortable when people give you that title while you're still playing? The career's not over yet.
I don't know if I would say I'm uncomfortable. I feel like it's definitely, it's an honor to be in that conversation. I feel like it's really nice of folks to say. But as soon as I feel like it's a tale as old as time, as soon as you start actually thinking you're sweet and you start believing it, and then you start talking about yourself in a way that, is out of pocket, then that's when stuff kind of gets like a little crazy on the field for a guy, or on the court. So, sometimes it can be a little bit more difficult than other times to, like rein it in and, do that whole take it one kick at a time thing, and, just focus on the task at hand, when sometimes, like NFL football is so big, and there's such a huge audience, like a preseason game, for goodness sakes, is commanding like a multi-million, person audience. and that's on par with game 6 or 7 of the Stanley Cup Finals. Not to say hockey isn't incredible. It's just that football in the United States is huge. So having that attention and having those eyes, and then being on the receiving end of the positive remarks and the accolades and the individual honors, that's all good and well. That's really, really fun. But what I think should drive I think what does drive the greatest athletes that have done it in their respective sports is being great and winning championships.
Well, Adam, that was a lot of fun as well, catching up with Tucker. This guy obviously is on his way to being the greatest of all time. You could tell I was a little bit, tentative in declaring that already, but can't wait to see how his career plays out.
I mean, mark him down as the greatest of all time. Obviously, there's years to still be played. He still wants to play until, he's into his 40s, like Vinatieri and other kickers have. So there's still a lot of time to be had on his resume. But as of right now, I mean, there's nothing that's stopping him except a bad hold and a bad snap. So we just wish him the best and continue to kick the best field goals for the Ravens.
All right. Moving along, Orioles skipper Brandon Hyde was runner-up for American League Manager of the Year. He joined the podcast just a few weeks ago from sunny Sarasota and talked about, getting upset with an umpire and the way things went down when he got tossed.
So here comes Brandon Hyde, and he just got thrown out of the game. He said, "Don't come out." Brandon didn't say anything. He took a couple steps and he threw him out of the game.
Now, this is crazy.
Couldn't you question information?
Yeah, he just wants an explanation.
I don't even think he was arguing.
Let's bring in the manager of the Baltimore Orioles. He is Brandon Hyde. We bring him in with a bang there. Skip, how you doing? Happy Thanksgiving to you.
You just got my blood going again with Ron Copa right there on that.
Copa gets the ass, man. He gets the ass.
That's the thing.
There's a history between you two.
No, me and Copa are good, actually. He's kind of apologized a little bit after the fact because he threw me out for something that I wasn't going to argue the replay. I was going out to check on runners or something, and he just tossed me right away thinking I was coming out to argue. And then when I told him what I was doing, he kind of said, my bad. Yeah, no, I am involved in the free agent process from the standpoint of our pro scouting group in our front office identifies players that they think are fits, and then Mike will send me a text or call me, hey, what do you think about this guy? And then I'll be involved in the conversations with potential free agents also. That's just starting now. So my involvement will be giving my opinions a little bit to Mike on certain guys. If I have history, if not, I put a lot of trust into our front office and finding guys like Jordan Lyles. What a great find last year and exceeded expectations and was worth everything. Just what he did. So I'm putting a lot of trust in those guys. And I'm not involved in the budget or how much we're going to spend or what we're going to get somebody for. But Mike will a lot of times ask me, is this guy a good fit in our clubhouse? Have you heard good things about him? You saw him in Chicago. What do you got? So those type of conversations, and then from a personal level, I'll get involved with the player a little bit and have a discussion and talk and answer any questions they may have about me, about our club and about us going forward. And the big difference in the 4 years is the size, the physicality of our guys. My first year here, I felt like there was we weren't very guys that would come over from minor league camp, not very physical. But now, you look around our weight room or you look at the young guys coming up. I mean, Rushman's big and super strong. Kauser is 6'4" and super strong. Kierstead is big with big legs, huge power. Gunnar Henderson is still growing. He's from what he was 2 years ago to what he is now. When I saw him in spring training last year, I was like, oh my God, this guy is a house. And then on top of that, they're all able to run too. So just the athleticism as well as the size, which, as you know, plays in the big leagues. You got to be strong. You got to be strong. You got to be fast. You got to be one or the other. And if you're both, then you got a chance to be really good. So, the teams in our division, these aren't small dudes. These aren't weak players. They're strong, athletic, and so that's been fun to watch.
This baseball family is crazy. It's crazy. But Hyder, first off, congratulations on a fantastic year. Second place in the Manager of the Year. Obviously, I thought, it was a little biased. I thought you should have won it. But Tito is obviously great too. But I just wanted to jump in here, and just talk about the last 4 years, because you got thrown into the fire. So this just be to call it what it is. And look at what it is now. It is beautiful. It is something to aspire. It's something to watch. We're all watching the growth. Just take us down to, the last 4 years, really.
Well, like you said, I mean, there was that first year was kind of a blur, honestly. Me and Mike got this job really late, and so I think it was around the end of December. So imagine right now not even having a manager or GM going into the off season. You're just how late you are, free agent wise, etc. And Mike kind of was really honest with me in the interview process of what this was going to happen, which was pretty much that we were going to redo everything and start some departments that weren't developed at that point, with from the analytics side and international, and kind of start over from that end. And it was just going to take a little while. So the first few years were obviously rough, but I got some great coaches around me, formed some great relationships with players. That's what means the most to me, honestly, is how players feel about me and the coaching staff and the environment we create. Because if we get good players and we have this good environment, all of a sudden you're going to start winning ball games, as you know. And so I feel like we did the best we could those few years, honestly, with some weird stuff happening in those 3 years too, with COVID and losing Mancini and there's just a lot of things that happened, honestly, that was stuff that we had never dealt with before, and all of a sudden this year we got more talented, and so Mike's drafted well, and we've done a nice job on the waiver wire. That's been a huge thing for us, is pretty much our whole bullpen, which was the backbone of our team last year, was almost all waiver wire guys and guys to get opportunities. So we've done a nice job of acquiring, and we're looking forward to continuing to get more talented. We're probably going to be even younger next year, possibly. But I think we're going to be a fun team to watch, and hope we make a run at it.
Adam, as far as being the runner-up for Manager of the Year, just an honor to be nominated, but to finish second, I mean, that's unbelievable. A 31-game turnaround. We'll talk more about that a little later in this podcast, but still nothing to be ashamed about being second in the voting. And we did see that he could get angry at times as well. I don't know how many times you got thrown out of games.
Ain't nothing wrong with getting frustrated, but I mean, he finished second, and I mean, deservingly so. He could have easily won it, but I always feel awards go to playoff teams, and the Orioles were just right there. The Guardians just snuck in, so that's why Tito got it. But Brandon, I mean, nothing but the utmost respect for what he's doing with this organization, what he's doing with this team, and the impact that he's really having on the city. He doesn't understand that the fans really, really love him, and he fits the mold of the city. He's a rugged style manager, and as you know, playing in Baltimore and covering Baltimore all these years, that's what the fan base loves. They like a rugged, hard-nosed type player and manager.
They definitely have embraced him. In 2023, hopefully he will be Manager of the Year. All right, Adam, some really enlightening conversations we had with a number of our guests already. Some very big names are already lined up, so stay tuned. We got guys like Eric DaCosta and Barry Levinson and a few other names that I'm not going to drop because, well, it's a secret. But they're going to be on this Adam Jones podcast coming up in 2023. All right, our For the Birds segment is presented by Be More Around Town. They have the ultimate all-inclusive pregame purple tailgate experience before every home and away game. Head to BeMoreAroundTown.com. They also have trips to the Terps, the Caps games, as well as spring training in Sarasota. What a trip that is down to Sarasota. BeMoreAroundTown.com. These are first-class trips that Brian and company put together. So for this portion, we're going to reflect on what I listed, and again, it's a subjective list, of what I feel were the top 5 sports moments, mostly Baltimore-centric, but it's Maryland sports moments in 2022. And we're going to go, I wanted to go 1 through 5, but I was told during our production meeting, I'm an idiot for doing that, and I should be going 5 through 1. So it seemed like a consensus that I was voted an idiot. So I will go 5 through 1. You were the lead voter, but Reggie, Chip, Jackson, they all,
That's
okey doke that. Yeah, I was voted against. So for me, the number 5 moment in Baltimore/Maryland sports in 2022 was the arrival of Kevin Willard at the University of Maryland, taking over the basketball program from Mark Turgeon, who quit on his kids a year ago. Danny Manning had to come in the middle of the season as an interim coach, was put in a very difficult position. There needed to be a dawn of a new era, and that's what it is in College Park with Kevin Willard, who comes after being so successful at other stops. He replaced Turgeon back in December, and actually he came over in 2022 after Turgeon had quit in December. The Terps took their time in finding the right guy, and he seems to have Maryland basketball on the right track.
Do you ever think a coach really quits, or is there a mutual agreement? And it's the proper way to say, quit. It's paperwork. You know what I mean? It's saving ass in a way. But no, what Willard's doing right now, he's just implemented a force on the defensive end and trying to score the ball, and not trying to be like University of Virginia, where you just average 43 points a game, but you give up 38. Such the worst style of playing. But no, it's great. I know they've been in a little bit of funk. A couple teams have after a really hot start, but hey, I think going forward, this program is looking very bright. And I think a lot of people in Maryland right now are really in College Park are really excited for the future of this team.
He brings a very successful track record to Maryland basketball. And again, they seem to be off to a very nice start, and hopefully it will continue. And again, it's a change in what we have seen in the past with Turgeon, who seemed to criticize his players too much for my taste. So he got paid. That's why he's not coaching again. And what you said at the top rings true. I think, it was time for a mutual parting of the ways. All right, number 4. Go ahead.
Remember what Ed Orgeron said? He was like, hey, they told me they're going to give me $17 million to leave. Where's the door?
That's what Turd said. Show me the door and show me the money.
Just make sure that check clear. I don't care. I'm out. I'm going to be fishing.
Speaking of showing me the money, it brings us to number 4 on my subjective list. Maryland finally approving sports wagering. This has been a game changer, especially for me, a degenerate like me, in terms of lifestyles, the way people follow sports events, in my opinion, how it's reached new levels now with more mobile wagering, could lead to a lot of people losing money. If they get irresponsible, I will certainly help benefit the state's coffers, because they are making millions upon millions. It's just a shame, like most things in this state, it took too long to approve twice. The first time around gambling, the second time around mobile wagering, but it has been a game changer. I know you occasionally appear in Maryland, but I must tell you that it is being talked about religiously. And it's sort of like politics time. You can't turn on the TV here without seeing an ad for some gambling corporation.
Right. I mean, I know it took its time. Obviously, that's a whole different debate. That's all political and on a completely different scale. But I know a lot of people that do sports betting, yourself and many other people that I do know. It's a lot better. You don't have to drive all the way down. You don't have to go downtown. You don't have to go all the way up to the PA line. And it's going to generate money. At the end of the day, that's the name of the thing, is generation of money. But the biggest thing is where this fund's going to go. Are these funds going to go back into the school and infrastructure to build a better Maryland? Who knows? I'm not into that. That's the bigger conversation. But I just hope that money, it's same with the marijuana money as it's become recreational.
Starting in July, right?
In July, just that hopefully that money is just used to be funneled back into the state, because it's going to be a lot of people doing it. There's going to be a lot of people gambling. There's going to be a lot of people smoking. So hopefully a lot of that tax money can just be used for better infrastructure.
Yeah, for the right things. I think we agree with that. And still on the topic of money, my number 3 top moment, again subjective, in Maryland-Baltimore sports in 2022 was Lamar Jackson failing to get a long-term contract. It was kind of a mutual decision. Lamar set a deadline to the start of the season. We all know that he is representing himself. We all know I feel that's a mistake, but there is no deal done. I don't know if he's done anything to help improve his stance for the offseason coming up. In my opinion, I think they franchise this guy. The Ravens love that he doesn't have an agent. You better believe behind the scenes they love he doesn't have an agent, that they get to deal with him directly. So this drama, I think, will continue well into 2023, AJ.
Well, I mean, the plan was to franchise him anyway. 2 years of franchising at mid 40s.
Do you agree with that?
Probably was going to get anyway. Then before he hits the market, it's I look at it. I'm a person that I took security over the risk, and especially how the season's going in terms of personal health, a little risky. But at the same time, I just think the talent is always there, and he'll end up getting his money. It's just that in a couple years, it possibly could be in a new uniform, and I think that might be more of a reality than people might want to really talk about. Just like we were talking about with Big Fella, he said that Trevor Price said, "What if he's out?" You never, and people don't want to think about that because he's my quarterback. He's gonna be here forever. A lot of people play for two to three different teams.
You don't want to lose the first-round draft pick, no, but you don't want to overpay him either, so we'll see how this plays out. It'll be fascinating. Also, Adley Rutschman's Major League debut. Now, I was a bit baffled at the timing of it. I have to be honest. I don't know if you recall this, but they promoted him on the day of the Preakness, the morning of the Preakness. I get a release saying, okay, Adley Rutschman's making his Major League debut tonight. As, the Preakness wasn't as filled as it has been in the past, but a lot of people had made their plans. I think they only drew about 15,000 at Camden Yards. The kid did triple in his Major League debut and led the team in a number of categories, including on-base percentage, was second in Rookie of the Year balloting, and the best is yet to come for the Orioles backstop, AJ.
I just think the day he got called up was just a lightning in a bottle. You can tell we talk about leadership. He has every quality of it, especially coming from the college ranks. He stepped right in. You can see how he stepped right into professional ball and just dominated it, and not just dominated on the field between the lines, but cerebrally. And he's a very smart kid, and he's a man. And the beautiful part about playing a sport is that, or anything that you do successful, is you got to repeat it. And I'm looking forward to a lot of those guys who got the cup of tea, got a big spark plug, and I'm looking forward to them now. Gonna be, look at, you're starting opening day. You're gonna walk down that orange carpet. Don't trip, and let's see what you got from day one. Not coming in, filling in. Let's see what you got from day one.
I love when the kids show up. The kids are always welcome in the podcast. Now, number one for me, the number one sports moment in 2022 was the Orioles turnaround, a 31-game turnaround, Adam, for a team many predicted, including me, would win maybe 60 games this year and finish last in the AL East. I did not see this train coming down the tracks as quickly as it did. It was remarkable. Again, all the so-called experts, including me, I'm happy I was completely wrong, and what a great job Brandon Hyde did this past season, as we talked about earlier with him.
I always say projections, people that make projections, they're asses. To us players, to the players, we're like, you're a
Thank you.
You think that we're going to just, that's how you think we're going to. But at the end of the day, you're taking the data, you're using, you have a pretty thoughtful, objective and idea and opinion about what's going on based on what the hell's going on. That's your job. It's your job to analyze what's going on and write about it. But as players, we always look at that and be like, man, forget y'all. Y'all thinking we just suck and all that stuff. And, they just overexceeded expectations. But they overexceeded your expectations. In that clubhouse, they felt that they could win every game. And that's the difference. And you've been in the clubhouse. You was there in 2012. You were there you was there in the 90s. I believe you were there in the 90s when you seen.
Yes, I was.
And then you seen all just ass teams. Ooh, we were terrible. Before me. And then when I got there, we were bad. And then you seen when that change of when we started winning in 2012, we started winning those 1-1 games. We started winning those nail biters. We started getting that big hit. We started doing those small things. We started making a defensive play. Now, were we on paper more talented than the other team? Hell no. Not one year I played in Baltimore. We were more talented than the Yankees or the Red Sox or something like that, just because they have bigger payrolls and they're going to go get the biggest names and all that kind of stuff. but we beat people in a lot of things. We had the greatest intangibles. We played arguably the best defense over this 5-year stretch. And us and the Royals, you can look that up. And we just did what we had to do. And this year, you've seen the Orioles scrap, claw, and they had some leadership around them. They're like, look, at you guys, just because you're 21, who cares? I hate when people say, oh, he's young. Manny's young. Manny was 20 years old, busting his ass, creating a name. Now he's young and big. He's 24. When Manny already had 3 All-Stars at this point. Like, kiss my ass about he's young. Hey, grown man, he got that bat. You called him up. It's time to do damage, pure and simple. And right now, the Orioles them young kids are up there doing damage. You give them a bat, they want to do damage. And it's great to see the fan base is live right now. The city is live and excited because you got a lot of young dudes, not a lot of old, scrappy old dudes. You got some young dudes with some fire, good lookings, tall. So, hey, sorry for my going off.
No, you're right. The future is bright for both the Orioles and the Terps. They're offering a lot of promise in 2023. And everything the Ravens want to accomplish is still very much in front of them as far as a run in the playoffs and maybe the big game itself. Well, this week we don't have a Best of Adam Jones rant on our Best of podcast. That'd be too difficult to sort out. There have been so many great rants, but we bring you another Heckle D's rant courtesy of Jack Daniels. Jack Daniels has always made whiskey, and if they have it their way, AJ, they always will. But there's one thing Jack can't make more of. Those are moments, and those are on us to create. So let's make sure we're making the most of every moment we have. Make it count with Jack Daniels, which you have back in where you are right now. Couldn't have it last week. We'll talk about that a little later, but the floor is yours.
It's the holiday season. I want to be very thankful for friends, family, loved ones, new people I met, old people I met, new golf friends, new paddle friends, just new people I've just met throughout. My new work people, we're creating new friendships with all the people at the banner. And, it's just a lot of good things moving forward towards 2023. And just want to continue to spread the love, spread the positivity. You see Chippy up here next to the Jack. He's obviously trying to get himself a little inebriated just before, the kickoff too. He's got to open the presents with the kids. But no, I really want to just show my gratitude and appreciation for all the people in my personal circle, my family, my loved ones, but all the people that we work with at the banner and there and beyond. Chip, Jackson, okay, Reggie, Coleman. We have such a great team, such good unity, and it's been a great working with you guys for the last 4 to 6 months, and hopefully there and beyond we can just create and continue just a lovely bond that we have and continue to talk BS and have fun. Yeah, that's what we're doing right now. We're just having fun, having a good old time, and just greatly appreciate everybody.
Going, baby. Hey, I just met you, and this is crazy.
Now we make the transition into the tar pit that is social media. It's our socially speaking segment where we choose one of our best posts, either via Twitter, Instagram, or Facebook, where you can find us on all 3 platforms. I think I got it right the second time. At Adam Jones Pod. Again, at Adam Jones Pod on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. And for those that are social media challenged, we've created an email address. And this week, we have the right email address. Last week, I apologized to everyone who emailed the wrong email address and got, spam back. It's theadamjonespod@gmail.com. It's on the screen right now if you're watching on YouTube. If not, pull over in the car. theadamjonespod@gmail.com. So a few weeks ago, we had Dan Duquette on the program, and he said this.
Every day you'd come, for some odd reason, I don't know why you came during my group, out of the right field tunnel. Every single day. And every time during my group, when you came, the entire walk, you'd be dodging balls. Because I said, if anybody can hit you, I give them $1,000. So everybody in that whole round, before you got to the dugout, would be inside out and the hell out of balls trying to get you.
Now, we got a response regarding the fact that he was a target of Orioles players during batting practice, as you revealed. We got this from @DatDudeJr29 on Twitter. He wrote about the fact that Adam revealed, as you heard, that these guys would try and hit Duquette intentionally during BP for a bonus. He tweeted, "I haven't laughed this damn hard in a minute." A couple of laugh emojis. A a walking target practice, LLS, more laughing emojis. Not sure what all that means, but I think I get the point. I think I need a translator for some of these tweets.
Some of these acronyms, LLS, I honestly don't know that one. But
AU? AYOO?
yeah, AYOO is Ayo.
Okay.
You know, yeah, that Ayo. But the other one has to do with something with laughs. But I mean, it's so many people hit me up about this story because only people that know about it are the people in my group. Maybe Jim Palmer, maybe Jim Hunter, and a couple other people, hitting coach. Because I mean, it's just funny. You always try to do things that are just funny and on the field, and that was one thing that we always tried to do. And Dan always wore a suit with running shoes, so he was able to dodge himself out the way. So he protected himself, but he was definitely a target every single.
Do you think that was the first time he had heard that when you broke that story to him?
Honestly, I think I told him multiple times.
But maybe he forgot.
Like hinted towards him, or like he came and was like, "Hey man, you guys trying to hit me or something like that." I was like, "No, man, we just late or something like that." No, but we're
just a coincidence. That's all.
Oh, we were trying to hit him so bad. So funny.
All right, that does it for our first of two Best Of podcast to end 2022. We sincerely thank you all for listening, subscribing, and writing a review, not to mention giving us 5 stars. If you haven't, go out and do it and tell a friend about this podcast. All right, 5 stars. That's what we need. As always, we want to thank our sponsors, Jack Daniels. Please drink responsibly. Be More Around Town. They have the ultimate all-inclusive pregame purple tailgate experience before every home and away game, including Caps trips coming, trips to Sarasota for spring training, trips to College Park for Maryland. Head to BeMoreAroundTown.com and learn more. Also, the good folks at the Wyman Company and by G-Leaf Medical Cannabis Company. Visit gleaf.com. And a reminder, check out the Baltimore Banner. 6 months unlimited digital access for just $1. All you have to do is visit thebaltimorebanner.com/AJ to get started. Have a very safe 2022 and a great beginning to 2022. Have a very safe 2022 and be safe in 2023. And as I always say, be real, be kind. Happy holidays for everyone out there. Happy Hanukkah for the Jewish people. Merry Christmas for everyone who celebrates that. Happy Kwanzaa. Yeah, we'll get that out there as well. I just like to say happy holidays, and I cover all the bases. All right. Perfect.